Okay, here, I don't know if you can see this very well, but I did outline it in a Sharpie marker so you could see it better, but this is my design for a Christmas tree cutting board. And I don't know where this came to me. Maybe it was a shower, maybe it was a commute to work one morning. But anyway, thought this would be an interesting cutting board design. But what I've done is I have bought a piece of bamboo, and it's about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch thick. And you could have I also had thought about using maple, because I wanted a kind of a contrasting light color hardwood. And anyway, I ended up with the bamboo. And I also bought these pieces that I'm going to cut with the crosscut saw, and I'll cut these approximately the width of the cutting board. But this is a piece of walnut dowel, and then this is a piece, and it's got kind of a dark brown, and then this is a piece of the rosewood dowel that I bought from the woodworking store, and it's got kind of a reddish color. I think Purple Heart would have been a nice choice. And if you've got a wood lathe and you can't buy the hardwood dowels like this, then of course you could put it on your wood lathe and you know, make your own round stock or dowels. And what that's going to be is when I cut it, and I'm going to drill a hole with a 1.5 inch Forstner bit. Going to drill those, and these are going to be like your Christmas ornaments. I'll wedge those down in there with some wood glue, let that sit, and then we'll of course take this and sand it flush across the top. I'll use a jigsaw to cut the outline of the cutting board out, and I'll also use a jigsaw to cut out the little star design that I made up here for the top of the Christmas tree. So in this video, I'm going to take you through all those steps, and let's get started. Well, here is the finished Christmas tree cutting board, and I liked how the dark walnut and the rosewood came out, contrast very nicely with the light colored bamboo in the background. Again, this probably would have worked well if you had used maple or a lighter colored hardwood. As you saw in the previous segments, I used this. I took this to the 80 grit belt sander, and I got these dowels flush with the cutting board. Once I got them flush with the cutting board, I came back with my orbital sander, and I use 120 grit and 220 grit to get a fairly smooth surface, but you don't really need to sand it any smoother than that, I don't believe. After I did that, then I applied my homemade, this is a beeswax and mineral oil mix that I made myself, and I'll put a link to the recipe down below the video. But you apply this liberally all the way around to the cutting board, leave it overnight to let it kind of soak in, and then the next day come back with your paper towels, and I like to use the Viva paper towels, but come back and wipe all that excess mixture off, and it really brings out the beauty of the wood, and it also helps to protect your cutting board long term. A few things that I learned that I might do a little bit differently next time. I got to cutting these dowels out on the chop saw, and they were a little bit on the short side to be doing that, so from a safety standpoint, I decided to swap over to the bandsaw to cut these out, and didn't get quite as clean of a cut, but you know, you can sand these down, it worked just as nice. The other thing, as you can see, I cut the, like my design here where I added a star to the top of the Christmas tree cutting board, and I used a jigsaw to cut this out with a small narrow jigsaw blade. However, if I were to do this, another cutting board like this, I would probably use something like a scroll saw. Might give me a little bit better control of the blade and more detail. But however, I do think this turned out pretty nice. And hey, thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.